What up, metalheads? Alright, I got some sad news. Hold up, this is crooked here. Hold up. Alright, I got some sad news here. So, my Painkiller disc, remember when I reviewed this badass album? Yeah, this album is like one of the greatest of all times. Anyways, besides that, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it is all messed up. No, you guys can't really see that. So I'm gonna have to go get a new one because there's no way I can just let this guy die. There's no way. This and Rust in Peace have to be a part of my collection. So yeah, this, oh man, that is bad. Yeah, it's not working very well. Sad day, guys. Please send some prayers for this. You know, let's mourn in the comments for this guy. All right, this was recommended by Sarush. Welcome to the channel. You're new here, and you know, you were talking about this album, so I'm here to talk about it with you and everyone else and see what they all think about this album. So, Mourningrise, Opeth. First of all, I want to say the melodies on this are great. I know they have albums with, some will argue, better melodies, like the Blackwater album or even Heritage. You know, those might be more melodic, but I think that this has better melodies. I think the melodies are just absolutely great on this album. Something that I think is awesome about this album specifically, and kind of only this album, is, well, that's not true, and the next one, Still Life. But this album pulls it off better. And that's everything. That's just variety. This album does death metal, the growls and the intensity and the speed. At the same time, it'll go light, and it'll go softer, and he'll even growl to the soft melodies. And then there's obviously Michael's beautiful singing and his vocals, his clean vocals, and I think it all just contrasts really well. I think it can pace itself really well on this album only. There are other times when I feel like the pacing and the transitions of these varieties don't work very well. Not to say that they aren't good, but I just feel on this album it's perfectly placed when to transition and when to and how long they last. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe you guys agree with me, maybe not, but that's how I feel about this album. I can throw this album on for whatever reason and it'll satisfy that reason, because it just works. You know, I hope that made sense. My favorite song off of this is the Night in Silent Water, or I'm probably butchering that name because for some weird reason I cannot think of the name of the song, even though I listen to it all the time and I actually listen to this album a lot. Yeah, whatever. You know what song? It's the second song, and I think that is great. It even throughout this album, it really what am I trying to say here? It really captures the sound of sadness and mourning. At the same time, it also captures aggression and darkness. I think that's something that this album specializes in, and that is the overall theme of the album. It's just sadness, darkness, and aggression, and I think that's awesome. It isn't so much of beauty. Kind of like on their first album, Orchid. It's more of this power metal-y kind of softer, and not necessarily sad at times, but it's just soft. It's more beauty than it is sadness. On this album, the softness is kind of more of a sad kind of theme, and I like both of those albums. Orchid is another good album by them. It's actually my second favorite, but that's a lot more power metal. This has less power metal, less of the shreds, but it still has kick-ass shredding on here. And I think the balance of, like I said earlier, the balance of it all is great. Of every element they have, it's a perfect mixture and balance. And I think that's what makes this album really awesome. I mean, Opeth is one of the better progressive bands, I think. In my opinion, they're actually my favorite prog band. Besides Cormorant, they're actually my all-time favorite. If you guys haven't checked out my review for that album, go check it out. Bam, right there, or right there. I don't know where it pops up. It pops up somewhere, guys. There's a little, you'll see it. Just click on it. But yeah, Michael's voice, something I want to talk about Michael's voice real quick. His voice, when I first heard it, it was good. I didn't think it was bad, but over time, as I've listened to Opeth more and more, I've grown to really like and appreciate his vocals a whole lot. I mean, he's actually starting to be in one of my top 5, maybe, or top 10, maybe even top 5 metal vocalists, because his growling is really clean. You know, it's not like overdone gutturals or anything crazy like that. It's just there are these clean, smooth growling. He can even do smooth growling, and you know, they're not, like I said, they're not too overdone. They're not too guttural. They're not too low. And I like how he does those screams every now and then. You know, like he'll just do the like go up. I really like it when he does that. He does it a lot on Orchid. He also does it on this album. He does it a lot on really every Opeth album, except for the later stuff. He's kind of strayed away from that. But I really like that. He does that really clean, really well. And then when he does his clean singing, you know what's really nice about it is usually when metal bands do clean singing, it's kind of it doesn't work. Their vocals aren't that great. But I like how Michael's vocals are. They're not cheesy, and they're not, you know, he doesn't have any like he's not doing anything that he can't do. He's actually just singing some pure, clean, nice vocals, and I think that's awesome, you know. And he can transition so well between the two. His growling vocals are amazing. His gutturals and his the screams are great, and his clean vocals are the best metal clean vocals I've ever heard, really. Even better than artists that can actually sing. I think he still pulls it off better. And I think he's an underrated vocalist, really. I'm starting to really appreciate him more and more as I listen to Opeth. So, anyways, that's my quick review of Mourningrise by Opeth. I would give this album a solid 8.5, really. I really do appreciate this album. I love the complexity of it. I love the musicianship, the way it's laid out. I like how everything is put together, you know. I think Michael is really a musical genius here. The acoustic pieces also, I forgot to mention that. The acoustic pieces on this album are amazing. And you know, I think it's the context of the music. It's the context of the riffs that make it great. And you know, that alone, the riffs themselves are great. Even if it was out of context, the riffs are still really good. My favorite riff is the one in the silent water song, Silent Night and Still Water. Is that what it's called? I hate that I'm blanking out on the name. You know, it's like bow ba-na-now. You know what I'm talking about? Anyways, it's getting so dark, guys. It's literally only 3 o'clock here. It's 3 o'clock here. I hate the weather here. Why is it doing this? It's so dark. I plan on going outside and it started raining again, guys. It's horrible. Hold on. Check this out. Check this out, guys. Can you see this? Can you? No? You probably can't see through the terrible rain. Oh, there's Bruddy. He likes metal music too, guys. What am I doing? Anyways, I should get going because it's really dark and you guys are probably tired of like seeing my face in the dark. I would give this album, I already rated it. Anyways, Brady, what would you rate this album? Alright, he said, what would you rate this album? He said he's gonna give it also an 8. He says he really likes this album. So, but Brady prefers Orchid. So, yeah. Tomorrow we are going to listen to some metal together, guys. We're going to react to some metal music. There's a lot on my list. I'm excited to get into it. So, again, stay tuned. And, yeah, I mean, newcomers, subscribe right there. Come on, let's build up this metal community. It's building up pretty well. See you guys later.